The story is told that when the famed Yiddish writer Isaac Bashevius Singer reached the age of 60, he told his friend he knew he would live to 120. "How can you be so sure?" the friend asked him. "Because," explained Singer, "when I went for my checkup, my doctor told me I was half dead." The rabbis of old do give us a description of what our life will be like at different ages. The rabbis of the Pirkei Avot, an ancient text going back thousands of years, tell us at the 5 years of age, we should begin the study of the Torah, the study of Scripture. At 10, the study of Mishnah. At 13, we are subject to the mitzvot, the commandments. That's why we have the bar mitzvah at age 13. The rabbis go on. They say at 15, the study of Talmud. At 18, one should be married. At 20, a pursuit of livelihood. At 30, the peak of strength. At 40, wisdom. At 50, able to give advice and counsel. At 60, they tell us old age. At 70, fullness of years. At 80, the age of gevurah, the age of strength. At 90, a bent body. And then they say at 100, as good as dead and gone completely out of the world. Yes, we are taught these ideals in the Pirkei Avot, that collection of ethical insights by Judaism's first generation of rabbis. Now, I want to go back to the very first statement. At age 5, one should study the Torah, the Scriptures. And if you were going to start teaching your 5-year-old Torah, what text or section of the Torah would you teach him or her? Our tradition actually answers with Leviticus, Sefer Vayikra, the book that we started today. Now that may be a shocker. Why would the rabbis not teach us to begin with the very beginning of the Torah, the great book of Genesis, with its creation stories, the story of Noah and the flood, the stories of Abraham and Isaac, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, or maybe the master story of the Jewish people, the Exodus from Egypt, the great Passover story that we'll celebrate in 2 weeks. Why the book of Vayikra, the book of Leviticus, the book that deals with the blood and gore of the sacrifices and leprosy and ritual purity? Why this book? Our tradition gives us some insights. One rabbi says, because the children are pure and the sacrifices are pure. Let the pure ones come and occupy themselves with the pure study of the sacrifices. Another suggestion reflects Jewish history. It's in order to make the child aware of the significance of the temple and the glory that was lost by its destruction so long ago. But I don't love those explanations. And so I want to offer a third one by my colleague, Rabbi Ron Shulman, who offers another possible reason. It's because Leviticus, this book, this third book of the Torah, the middle book of the Torah, is ultimately about drawing closer to God. It's a text that describes the rituals, the spiritual techniques by which people felt their personal connection to God. The Torah calls our ancestors' sacrifices, their offerings, korbanot. It's a name that's derived from the Hebrew likarvon, which means to bring close. The idea being that when our ancestors would bring those sacrifices of thanksgiving or atonement, yearning or satisfaction, those sacrifices brought on the holidays, they actually felt closer to God. When they needed forgiveness from God, they would offer an animal sacrifice at the temple. They felt closer to God. When a holiday would come like Passover and they would bring that Paschal lamb and they would bring it to the great temple, they felt closer to God. That's how our ancestors drew close to the divine. So should we still teach this book? We don't offer sacrifices anymore, of course. So why even study this book? Aren't there other more enriching, relevant books to teach, especially to our 5-year-old children? Perhaps we still should, because we still hope to teach our children to come close to God. Yes, we no longer bring sacrificial offerings, nor does Judaism believe they are proper. But today it's our words, it's our study, and most importantly, it's our actions that are the spiritual techniques we employ today to demonstrate our relationship to God. And perhaps it's more important than ever before. I believe too many of our Jewish children, our adolescents, our young adults think we Jews have no spirituality. In a recent poll taken by the Springtide Research Institute, an in-depth poll of Americans between the ages of 13 and 25 revealed very alarming results for American Jews. It said some 40% of young American Jews said they no longer have and do not even need a spiritual community. And it was the highest rate amongst all major religions in the United States. And the poll also revealed that Jewish respondents appeared to be among those thriving the least in their religious and spiritual lives. Unfortunately, too many young people don't see the spirituality in Jewish tradition. If they light Shabbat candles or come to synagogue or celebrate the holidays, they don't see the godliness in it. They don't feel the warmth and closeness to God that's inherent in the mitzvot. Perhaps our young need better methods, better manners, better teachings to draw closer to God at home and at synagogue. And the question, I think, for us as Jewish adults is, can we help our children to appreciate the mystery and wonder of this world? Can we help direct their behavior and their choices to reflect the values of godliness and holiness, those spiritual values the Jewish people have held dear for thousands of years? Perhaps our young people need a faith system not just for the continuity of the Jewish people, but also for their own mental well-being. As you know, current rates of depression and anxiety are increasing more than ever before. Too many young adults in our country today, Jews and non-Jews, are more depressed and more anxious, especially in this post-COVID world. And young Jews, more than any members of any other group, said they were not flourishing in their relationships with friends, family, teachers, or other trusted adults. And the same was true when asked about their physical health, mental health, social online lives, and their faith lives. Young Jews also led the pack with the highest percentage rejecting the sentence. In general, I feel very positive about myself. My friends, is there a correlation? Young Jews having a hard time connecting to God are also having a hard time with their mental health. Young people today are seeking our guidance from rabbis, from Jewish educators, from cantors, from Jewish leaders, and most importantly, all Jewish adults, parents and grandparents, aunts, uncles, members of the Jewish community. Young people want to know the purpose and direction of their lives, what direction their life should take. And believing in God, having faith, helps them realize that there is purpose to their lives, that there's a reason for them to be here. There's a reason God put them here. There's a reason for them to thrive in this world. But for them to have a faith system, they need us more than ever, as the adults of their community, to model for them. And even if we don't believe, even if we have doubts with our faith, can we still teach them about God? Because giving them that faith system, that belief in a higher purpose, that belief in a creator, is a great gift for our young. It gives them purpose and direction. It reminds them that there is a greater reason for this world that we love. And that's why perhaps the book of Leviticus and the lessons inherent in this third book that we start today is important not just for all of us, but also for our young, because we can still find a lot of value and meaning